Welcome back, ladies and gents, to your Caviar podcast. And I feel like you don't even need an introduction. And if you don't know who this guy is, you've been living under a rock because, I mean, over 20 years of experience in the industry. He's so popular, he's getting a phone call.
Apologies.
Do you want to answer? You totally can.
No, not at all. I'm a professional.
Louis, hi, thank you for coming.
Good to be here, Nihan. I'm very happy to be here.
The accent. Oof. Give us a little bit of your background.
Well, for people that don't know anything about me, born and raised in Australia, Melbourne, Australia, Greek immigrant parents, was a lover of life from when I was a young teenager. And certain things don't change. I knew what I liked back then and what I didn't like. Decided to leave my country and invest in the arts, which is a dangerous decision.
Well, we love a man who knows what he wants.
Well, I knew what I didn't want. Okay. So at an early age, I loved my sports. I made some decent money playing soccer.
Pro soccer for a couple of years? I saw that. That's amazing.
For quite a couple of years. I turned pro at 15 and a half, actually.
That's amazing.
So I was making nickel and dime money then. As I got older, back then they didn't pay much, not like it pays now, but I was making money at 15 and going to school.
What position did you play?
Striker and central midfielder.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
I played outside mid.
Did you? I did.
You're
a ball player?
Yeah.
Outside midfield?
Yep, varsity since freshman.
Right on. Were you a goal scorer?
I feel like I assisted more.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was more my speed, and I was good at like assisting.
Right on.
And we had a really insane striker. Her name was Jacqueline Solitello. If she's watching this, hi Jacqueline.
We'll throw out there,
yeah.
Jacqueline. Yeah, I was good at the game, but had a pretty good professional career. Won a few titles there, promotions with the big clubs. But I also fell in love with boxing, and boxing is what brought me to the United States in my very early 20s. And back then I had a vision of competing in the highest level, and I trained for 2 or 3 years. And through that, and through bringing myself here and being active, even though my decisions may have been right or wrong, I was active and I was passionate. Yeah. And that brought me to the acting business, and that kind of happened by chance. But I always loved the arts, as film, and I was an illustrator. So everything fit. From that point on, I've been in Hollywood now since the late 80s, early 90s.
So when you moved to the States, was it straight to LA or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've always been LA based.
You also do Muay Thai, right?
I did a lifetime of it, yeah.
And how long did that last until you kind of decided to pivot more on the arts?
Same. Well, when I got here, I was training for around 2.5 years and sitting in my brother's acting class in the late, great Janet Alhante's class. What an inspiration and what knowledge I got from that woman in that class. Those people remembered who were there. It was just a very active, wonderful environment. But I came here to fight. But because my days were free, I would sit in my brother's class.
Yeah. And he's older, and he's also an actor.
He's also an actor, Costas.
Yeah. Who is also, he's in the Saw franchises.
Saw franchises.
You guys have done a couple of things together. We're going to come back
to
that.
We have, yeah.
Okay,
so back then, though, he was a very big name. And he was working. I sat in the class, and that's when I got bit by this amazing acting, filmmaking bug. So yeah, my life took a turn there, and I stopped all my combative, the fight game, the professional fight vision, and my training. I trained it from Freddie Roach to the Goosens to Paulinas I was gym hopping everywhere. But at that point, I booked Necessary Roughness out of nowhere. I got an agent, the amazing shout out to Bill Danziger, great guy, smart guy. And through Bill, I got my SAG card. And then I just kind of decided to focus on the arts. And my athletic career came to an immediate stop back then. Still trained, but as far as an obsession and a profession, it stopped, and I focused on acting and filmmaking.
What an amazing full circle, because now I feel like the things you do also are action driven. If you come from a sports background, it gives you discipline. And I do think that you need some sort of a discipline getting into the arts, as far as like, it is a business.
I agree 100%. And it's funny, reminiscent of Janet Alhante's classes. She used to say, for example, don't write it down. Listen and you'll never forget it. And I don't remember fucking anything. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
I don't remember fucking anything, really. But I remember good things. And she said, if it's good, you'll remember it. She talked about some amazing things, and she referred to that. When you're an athlete, when you're a professional athlete and you want to become an actor, it's on par in many levels of discipline. Being savvy of the cameras and the people, not being nervous in front of a crowd, not being nervous competing, and especially boxing or doing anything in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
It's similar to being on set. You're performing, you're exposing yourself. and there's win or lose. There's something at stake. So there are parallels, and I agree. It helped me in certain ways. Granted, I still got very nervous before auditions, but
I think that's a good thing.
yeah, I think everyone does at some
Yeah.
point, right? But you got to be able to. They say use it.
So it says your first credit, Down the Shore. Well, it's not his first credit, but like the one that I noticed because you were the first on the call sheet. It went on for like, I don't know how many seasons, but you're
I'm
in
sure.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an incredible journey. But my first job was China Beach, actually.
China Beach.
And funny enough, I got cast by John Levy, and I played a drunk Australian soldier.
Love
So
it.
I went in for the audition, booked that.
Nailed it. Okay. Yeah.
So that's
I
when it
mean,
started. Then, right out the bat, I got Down the Shore, and that's quite the story. That ran 2 years.
Okay.
We led in Married with Children back on the day.
But I mean, that's what it takes. You know, it's like when you have that one role that's perfect for you.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
career started
Yeah.
in a sense. Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, at least I got in the game at that
Can
point.
you tell us about your audition for Down the Shore?
Dear friend of mine, Alan Kirshenbaum, Phil Rosenthal, who did Everyone Loves Raymond, these guys produced this show. And it's a great story because I had almost zero experience. I started studying in the class. It was, I'd like to say it was after Necessary Roughness. So I booked Necessary Roughness, green, didn't know anything, learnt a lot. Then on my first audition, I got a call back for Down the Shore. And I remember what they said to me. They said, we want to call you back. And I went back and it was full. It was producers and network and everything.
Oh gosh.
And they auditioned me because I was so perfect for the role, and I nailed that one. I mean, that was all mine. I just
Yeah.
you know how sometimes Nihan as an actor, I'm sure you read material sometimes and you get it. As
Yeah.
soon as you read it, you're like, I got this.
Yeah.
But then there's some you need to really fucking work on.
Yeah.
This Down the Shore, I just got it. So what happens is they still heard an Aussie accent, and the producers pulled me aside and said, listen, before we take you to the network reading, the top one, we're going to take you for 2 weeks with a lady called Lillian Glass. She was a speech therapist.
Yeah.
So that's where I really learned the tricks of the trade for linguistics and doing accents with tongue exercises. So for 2 weeks, driving home religiously, I practice and practice. And I went back to network again, and this time with a heavy-duty New York accent, and I booked the job. And I really learned how to play with accents on their dime. They paid a lot of money for me
Okay.
because they believed in me.
Yeah.
And that was a great experience. I learned so much on that show.
You do a lot of accents, and I pay homage to that because I'm still kind of shy doing different accents. I feel like
Yeah.
when I moved
Confidence,
to the States,
it's a big part of it.
you know, speaking Turkish and having that accent, it wasn't in North Carolina. It wasn't like people were curious about me, but it wasn't really welcoming. So I think because I tried so hard to like have the proper American accent, I lost it within like 2 years, which is quite fast for, you know. I'm a little shy doing accents.
What it was. Really? You won't?
Yeah.
One thing I like to do is when I go crazy on an accent and it's just absolutely false and not me,
Yeah.
which is I think everything other than talking like this.
Yeah.
I go out and I'll order food and I'll do that because for the first 2 minutes you feel like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But then you realize this person doesn't know me and they're buying it and
And it's
that's
working.
Well, that's how I practice, you know.
No, that's very
Yeah.
smart. Did you ever have like a feeling of, I don't know, a little bit of homesick, like you belonged here, you belonged there, you know, like a little bit of identity crisis at any point of your career?
Yeah, of course. You know, where is home?
Yeah.
My family. I've been away from my family for a long time and it's not easy.
And your brother was here as well. It's you and your brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least you guys had each other. What a great
Yeah.
team.
What I do, I have my family, obviously my friends that I care for, but then my work is an extension of who I am and it takes second to nothing. I live for my work. Granted, I miss being at home for Christmas and obviously my parents being gone for decades.
And I mean, your credits and everything you've done definitely speaks for itself. Okay, my next question, which I think a lot of people are excited about. Also, when I was like introducing you, I was getting a little shy because going down a little bit of a rabbit hole of everything you've done, I love this guy. Okay, so Friends, which we all have seen, how was that experience? Because you were up for the role of Joey, and then they called you back to play his doppelganger in one of the episodes. And what was it like being on that set?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, I've been friends with Jennifer and Matt for a long time before I did the show.
Yeah.
And, mutually seeing them around town. And so they've always been wonderful, wonderful people. I didn't know until the reunion came out that I actually booked Joey, that I actually got it. And then Matt came in the next day, and I think he had a black eye or something, because he missed the reading. They said to him that day, for some reason, you're the character. They laughed, they talked, etc. And Matt got the job, and rightfully so. He was right for it. So that did happen, and I was, felt good, felt great. Then years later, there was an audition. I didn't get the offer, but they said, Lewis, can you come in and read for Joey's double? There was 4 of us. I went in the room, and they said, it was one of those auditions, which is rare. They say, everyone's going to go home. We're going to say who got it now, and you have to go right to work. Yeah, literally. Friday night, 5 o'clock, I roll a spliff, and with all the boys, we're going out.
Yeah.
Have a smoke, have a little shot of whiskey, and we're out. Ring, ring. You have an audition. When, Monday morning? No, now, my manager says, go now. What? Where? Friends, Joey's double, Forest Lawn, right?
Oh, yeah, Forest Lawn.
I got in the car. So I've already had a smoke and a whiskey.
Oh,
and I'm driving, looking at the thing, the 2-3 pages as I'm driving. True story. We get in there. There's 4 other guys that look like Joey, I guess. And there's me. And they come out and they say, we're going to go fast, one by one. And we're going to ask everyone to leave and one's going to stay. We all did the thing. And they come out and they said, Mr. Mandylor, please stay. Thank you. Shook everyone's hands, went in there, went right to set. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. I think the flinch got it for me, because as I was walking down the hallway, I just, as an actor, you always, every second you're just thinking, how, what, if, this,
Yeah.
You're just doing it. And then as I'm walking in the room, I was doing one of the lines and I flinched. So I said, I'm going to keep that. So every time he said, Carl, I went, I flinched. I did it subtler than that. But I think that's what really got him. The flinch was hysterical. I don't know. I just loved the flinch.
But what, self-awareness?
The subtleties.
Yeah. And you keep it. Also, a Greek and a Turk having coffee.
Can you imagine, huh?
I'm going to fold mine over. Yeah.
I have to wait till it gets very thick, right? To the thick part. Yeah.
Like you taste a little
I've
bit
had
of
Turkish
things.
coffee. Come on.
Yes. Greek coffee, Turkish coffee. I love
We do the
all
same
of them.
thing.
Just give it. I think this is my 3rd one today. Charmed. You shared a screen with your brother. Was that the first time you guys acted together? Because I know you also you write, you direct, you guys did a couple of films together as well. But was this the first time?
Yeah, I did a few, but that was one of the first ones with Costas.
Okay.
Great experience. And Brian Krause has become a dear friend. I just directed a film in Europe, and he happened to be in Europe, and I called him and my brother, funny enough, a reunion. It was a great reunion after doing Charmed.
Oh my
Because that was, 20 years ago, I don't know.
Yeah, but it lasted it's a big show.
It was a huge show, wasn't it? Played a ghost.
So,
Boom.
coming from Australia to LA, what do you remember about it? That maybe the differences, what you love or miss, what you loved about LA but missed about Australia, maybe?
Well, it's a good question. Beautiful city. I'll say it. I don't but no, whatever. Just the bureaucracy and the politics. It's everywhere. It gets cumbersome. So we won't get into that. But that's rough down there. For example, I can't drive in Melbourne.
Okay.
If I drive in Melbourne, which I did, I already caught 1 ticket from my buddy. He's like, well, there's one. But anyway, that's a byproduct of the city and the people and my culture. It's fantastic. It's multicultural. Had a big influence on who I am and what helped me with this business. It was a tough town.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I don't know anything about Melbourne.
nowadays it's different. You've got to remember, I left in the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm 40 now, for fuck's sake.
Sure, great.
But, the 80s, it's still 25. When I was there, it was a different planet. But as far as what I got from it and what I learned, it helped me through my walk of life. Absolutely. But I prefer to be where I am right now. Good time to come back to LA, let's just
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just watched The Studio. It's a show with Seth Rogen and Nobody Wants This. And there's a couple of shows, when you see it being filmed in LA again.
That's a great thing, right?
It's such a great feeling. And so
It should be. It's LA. It should be the capital.
May I ask about your audition for My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Get the audition like every other, I guess, actor in town. And I went in there and made them laugh. Then I got a call back, made them laugh. And then I think everyone except Tom Hanks was there for the final callback. All the producers, Gary Getzman, Steven Saresian, and Nia, obviously. And just booked it. You know, there's no rhyme or reason. Did the Greek help? I'm sure. But I was very blessed, and what a great franchise to be part of. Yeah.
I remember watching that movie, and it was the first time I felt, I mean, I was connected to stories and watching, you know, films and as like a little kid, because I think it escaped me from my reality at the time. That movie specifically, I can't tell you how many times I watched the first one, because watching it, I was like, oh, I came from somewhere that's very similar. And like, I know this culture and I know this family and I know the different characters' like struggles or like their mannerisms. And it just like made me feel like home. It meant so much to me.
But on that note, to respond, that first one, just one of those films that had the magic.
Yeah.
And I got stories, what you just said. I was Chinatown soon after that doing a show called Martial Law, which is the biggest show on TV back then, Martial Law. And I was Sammo Hung's co-star, and I was doing my dim sum every weekend, and big star, everyone would say hello. It was one day where it was a big family. I mean, huge, you know, if you've ever been dim sum, it's thousands of people. It's not allowed to, you know, you ever been dim sum?
No.
We're going dim sum with me, Hun, soon.
Okay,
It's
great.
a culture shock for you.
Yeah.
The rooms are like 1,000 people, you know, so it's just a zoo of energy.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a couple of big tables with like seated 15, 20 people at a time, and they kept looking and pointing. And I went over and said, oh, they recognized me, they waved. And I went over and I said, Martial Law, you know, good show, Sammo Hung, because it was an Asian community.
Yeah.
And they said, no, my big fat Greek wedding, we love this movie. And I never forget that story. I'm like, what? Point is, we've all got similar problems or greatness with culture and families. And I think everyone related to that film the same.
Yeah.
That's why it was so magical.
A little bit of everything, yeah. And I think it was one that kind of really stood out, and it was like one of its kind at the time. And it's what that movie was spent making it to like what it did worldwide speaks for itself alone.
Well, here's a little more information I'll share that I do know is valid. It's just life in this business. That's why you can never give up, keep the faith. If you believe in a film, stand behind it. Just stand behind what you believe in. Point being that it's happened to me a lot with my movies that I directed. And Fat Wedding, when we made that, or when they made that and I was a part of it, I think that sat on the shelf for 2 years because the studios ended up passing on it.
Wow.
They said no A-list stars, no explosions, no TNA. I remember the verbatim, the quotes. So that sat for 2 years, and then apparently they did a deal for an airplane, and it started playing on a fucking airplane, man.
Wow.
They pulled it from the airplane. I think they had to pay the airplane to pull it. And then they reassessed their marketing campaign, and it became a phenomenon. So it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It was timing too. I think it was after 9/11. And for a couple of years after, there was all these war movies that were coming out. And I do remember Heart's War was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, I don't remember anything until I come on your podcast. I'm remembering shit that I haven't even thought of. Anyways, I remember the whole campaign. They said we're going to release it outside of New York and a couple of these big cities, in little cities, so people could see it, but not the main cities. So it got word of mouth, and people kept filling up the theaters in these bordering towns, and it got great momentum, great word of mouth. The point is, there was a lot of war movies, and I remember the timing was perfect. Everything paid off, and yeah, I think I ended up making 450 plus million, and that's that we kind of know of.
Insane.
Yeah, it was great, and it deserved it. People liked it. Yeah.
Was it before or during that time? So you're obviously like seeing a little bit of fame, not a little bit, a lot of fame actually. Did you start writing and producing before that, or did that kind of come after?
You know, it's funny. I came here to direct and to be more on that side prior to the acting, but I made a film or two prior to Fat Wedding, independent films. So I was doing it. Look, truth be told, you know, you get older and you end up not, I'm trying not to curse lately, not caring too much about certain things. So I got sick and tired of being hired as an actor on these medium budgeted independent films and getting these producers and the directors that were just unprepared, not invested, and just, it bothers me. You know, I got a little reputation, you know, I speak up.
Yeah.
I like to say, let's get it going or else I'm taking over.
Yeah.
And I was just sick of doing it, so I made a pledge, that's it, I'm going to start directing my own films because I love it, I'm good at it, I'm an illustrator, I storyboard my own stuff. So maybe 5-6 years ago, I absolutely dedicated getting back into that, and that's what I'm focusing on now more than anything, my company with my partner Mark Klebanoff at Odyssey and directing, because I'm rolling. Because I'm starting, 5 years ago I started fresh as a director, no one knew me as a filmmaker. And generally, when you're an actor that you want to direct, more often than not, it's like,
yeah.
And I've seen it happen. But in my case, it was different.
You always want to kind of grow yourself as an actor. I think people would like shoot themselves in the foot. Is that the saying?
Finish it and I'll tell you.
Yeah. But like when you're getting into a field and whether you have been in it for a while, like let's say acting, and you're like, okay, I'm very satisfied with this, but I want to do a different direction. Or if you're just like, I kind of learned this a little later, I think like mid 20s, but I knew I couldn't just act. But I was also curious about the other angles of the industry.
Yeah, me
and
too,
I think
same
you
thing.
have to because it's a really fucking hard industry. And if you're just acting, I don't know, especially now. It's like, I remember, I've talked about this on the other episodes, but I, worked at a self-tape studio. I was directing like people's reels because I was just like, okay, how, not only can I get better as an actor, but like learn the other aspects of the industry.
Sure.
Like you can't be a business and be a president right away if you don't know what it takes to get to that level.
That's very true. I agree with you. No, yeah, absolutely. By doing a lot of everything, I understand how to run a set. And when I'm directing, I don't sit in my chair. I'm doing everything with everyone.
Yeah.
Digging trenches. I do everything. I don't give a fuck.
But I think it's such a great gift to have a director come from an acting background because
that helps too.
You definitely understand a lot of different personalities.
And it helps on set too with the actors. You got to know what to say, what not to say. Each actor has their own idiosyncratic behavior. You can't say this in front of that dude. You got to understand behavior. It's a lot of things. And again, that's why I really enjoy it. I live it. I bleed out my eyes for it.
Yeah.
I think preparation is everything. And I've been on set a lot where people that are helming are just unprepared, and I've got zero tolerance for it anymore. So that motivated me, and it all helps, yeah. Knowing how the business side of things work too, because there's times where an actor will want another take, and I understand that because I've been there, but there's a time to say, bro, you might do it a little different or a little better, but I've got a war scene to shoot in half a day.
Yeah.
I've got to move on. I got this. It helps on a broad spectrum with delivering to my producers, because at the end of the day, I've got to deliver a film, and that's the objective.
Being in the industry for so many years, do you have any advice? I mean, obviously, if you're acting, explore other departments of the industry. But besides that, just like what it takes and like commitment, discipline, all this. But like, is that some there?
For
do you
the
have
life of the actor?
Yeah, like, do you have something that's like?
Yeah, I mean, I use myself as an example. I came here with no green card, no credit card. My mom gave me $1,000. I was living with 3 musicians and 1 kickboxer. Never studied a day of acting in my life, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to try and be the best at it when the opportunity came. It's about risking and being active. My biggest advice is in life, for the younger people anyway, is you've got to be active. You can have, and I've had them, I've had the greatest ideas and the greatest plans, but if you're not actively pursuing them, then there's no action in progress. So I wanted to be the world champion prize fighter.
Right.
By being active, it brought me to LA. By being in LA, it brought me into my brother's class. By being in my brother's class, it opened my heart, my mind, and I kind of found myself just by being active. As far as the acting life, we all know it now. A lot of people talk about it. I mean, Ethan Hawke, what a smart dude. I've been listening to this cat a lot lately. He says something like, do you want to be a star? Do you want to make $1 million? Or do you love the craft? Could you see yourself doing podcasts about acting workshops, which I do now in Europe?
When did you start the workshops?
I did it over 2 decades ago, but I revisited it last year in Europe because I'm there now. I'm mostly there. But the point is, if you don't really love what we do, you could be in for a rocky ride, man.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of body blows, and you have to love it, or else you're dead in the water, And it can happen to you. In 6 months, you get that TV show that goes for 10 years, and it's a home run. I've had friends that I've seen come to town and do exactly that. Mm-hmm. Once again, it's what you desire and what you're going for. Anything can happen if you're active, is my advice. If you're actively pursuing it,
Take action. Okay, so you directed a film that's coming out called Prisoner of War with Scott Adkins.
Well, firstly, we are screening it, a September release.
Okay.
To the public. I'm sure the trailer and the artwork will drop soon.
Okay.
World War II, prisoner of war camp, British Royal Air Force commander gets shot down, taken prisoner, and boy, oh boy, let the games begin. I'm very proud of the film. It's an odyssey. It's an in-house picture with my partner Mark Klebanoff and myself.
Amazing.
The addition of producer Brendan Mention. We went to the Philippines in the middle of monsoon season and shot a pretty epic action film. It came out great.
Oh my God.
I'm real excited. And Scott Atkins, my dear friend, the Machine, as I call him, stars in the motion picture with Cowboy Cerrone, Michael Walton, Gary Cairns Jr., Michael Coupon, and the list goes on. But
So exciting.
yeah, so
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I have another one coming out called Paralysis.
Okay.
Another one in post called Boxing Kid.
Okay.
All of these I directed and produced, and but this is actually completed and going to hit the market pretty soon. So we're real pumped.
And how do you pick your projects now to direct? Because I'm sure a lot of people are like handing you scripts, unless it's something like you wrote. Do you gravitate towards like a specific genre, you think, or is it you're just like?
I'll do it all if it appeals to me. And the thing with me is, I'll only say yes if I feel I can do something really good with it. So one's a horror film, Paralysis, really good little horror film. Another one's called Boxing Kid. That's like a Stand By Me meets Karate Kid.
Oh, I love it.
For kids.
Yes.
Beautiful little heartfelt film.
Is your brother in that? Did I read that?
Yes, he is.
correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
with Bryan
That's
Cranston.
exciting.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'll do a little of everything, but directing, helming a film is what I'm into right now, and I'm really digging it.
And are you big on acting in the stuff you direct, or?
I try not to,
Okay.
but sometimes if it's needed or if I love the role, I'll do it. I played the vampire in Operation Blood Hunt because I like.
Oh my gosh.
I said I'm.
Who doesn't want to play a vampire?
I know, and I just said
Amazing.
I'm playing that.
When you sat down and I was going to introduce you, I was going to say Yasu, which means hello in Greek.
Hello and goodbye.
Oh,
Do I do the twirl thing to get it all the way or no?
no. So okay.
Tell me
So
what to do here.
Yeah. Cup over it.
Oh, this way.
There we go.
Hopper.
Nope. Yep. Just like this.
Okay. Yep.
And then twirl it towards your heart 3 times and then flip it.
Which way? This way or that way? I'm very
Towards your
particular.
heart.
That way.
Yeah. And then manifest or wish something. It's a solar eclipse today, so.
It was more than 3 times.
I love it. No, it's okay. Turn it and yeah. Perfect. You turn it the correct way. Sometimes people don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
I wanted to ask about Rambo.
Rambo?
Rambo?
Well, that's the English way of saying Rambo.
All the action.
That's adorable, huh? Rambo.
Rambo.
Okay.
Rambo?
Rambo was a wonderful experience. It was. I was in Bulgaria and the casting lady.
Bulgaria.
She
Okay.
calls me sometimes. She says, hey, there's this role. You want to do it? So I've done 2. One was with Liam Neeson in Memory.
Wow.
I haven't seen it. I'm the drunk guy at the bar again. And we get into a big fight. And he beats me up. And then with Mr. Stallone on Rambo, I played the sheriff. It was great. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's the king, one of the kings, and great experience just to be part of the franchise. It's the only
Yeah.
reason I did it, because it was a scene with him and
Absolutely.
it was the final Rambo.
Rambo, okay? So tell me more about these workshops, and then I have a few questions, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Many decades ago in Las Vegas, myself and the ex-Jug, Jack Campbell, we used to run these little seminars, and I really liked them. Reminiscent of the late, great General Lahanti's ideals, and through working as a filmmaker and in the industry 30 years, I just, adapted my beliefs and things that I think help. So I was in Greece with my friend Konstantinos. He has an acting workshop there, and he invites speakers. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'll do one. So we did 1, we filled up. We had to do 2, filled up. We did 3. So we did 3 classes in a week. Awesome. And I just put it out there just to feel it out again. But it was incredible. I've broken down class 1, 2, and 3 into 3 stages. We do 3 different sections of what I believe is incredible and therapeutic.
Amazing.
It's just a really wonderful journey for all of us, including myself. I treat it like a set. So I say that then the second you walk in, you're on a movie set.
Love it. And
All the rules apply. Yeah.
will you be doing any in LA?
Yeah, I'm thinking about starting to do them here now because I think they're unreal for beginners and intermediate people. I give them so much information and material that I think could get them through any set, anywhere. Yeah, so we're thinking about doing some seminars here too in Los Angeles now that I'm here.
I think so. I think
It'll be
it's
fun.
much
Yeah, I'm into
needed.
it.
Yeah.
And again, when I have downtime, it also helps me because when I work, you're working on yourself as well while you're
Yeah.
working with everyone. So it's great, a great experience for all of us.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask about some of your favorite things that's Greek, that American Greek, but I saw this video and it says Tell me where you're from without telling me where you're from.
If you want to stop people where I come from talking, you cut their hands off.
Okay.
Right? Hey,
Yeah.
like the Italians, I guess.
Yeah, Turkish rule too.
Here, Mandylor.
Yeah. Nereye gidiyorsun? It's the same.
By the way, I love
worldwide.
Turkey. I go there a lot. I have
Yeah,
a lot of
it's
friends
great.
there. Enjoy it very much. Saturday night, one night there, real quick, I had the craziest night where we were out having a good time. And it was so busy trying to get home. And I was ready to get home.
You were in Istanbul. I'm
Istanbul
assuming.
on a
Okay.
Saturday. And it was an absolute effing
Yeah.
zoo. Like,
Yeah.
nowhere on the planet I've ever been.
You guys think LA traffic is bad?
No. But listen to this. I changed 3 taxis. Not like ordered 3 taxis. Taxi drivers would actually call other taxi drivers and say, can you take him from here? Because the cars couldn't move and I had to, but that was crazy.
Yeah.
But the food there,
Food.
great. Anyways, yeah.
Have you been to like Bodrum, the beach side?
I haven't been Bodrum yet, no.
Okay.
I've been to way deep in the Asian side.
Okay.
One of the best restaurants I've ever been to in my life.
So we have to go to Bodrum together.
Bodrum.
I need to go back to Mykonos.
You like Greece, yeah?
I love Greece.
Yeah, Greece is beautiful.
I loved it. And seeing those 3 different places for different reasons, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to explore more, for sure.
Yeah.
Should I read your fortune line?
Let's do it.
Is this your first podcast?
No, I've done a few,
Okay.
but it's been a while.
This one was painless.
You guys don't know it, but we met under crazy circumstances. Are we allowed to talk about it? No.
Of course.
Are we
I was
sure?
going to bring it up, yeah.
Shall we? While you do
yeah.
that?
Well, I have to focus on this. So
You
let's-
focus, shall I? Oh, no.
Okay,
First,
go for
we
it.
finish with the story.
Okay.
I have to
great.
take my cup reading seriously, so let's
Yes.
bear with on how we met.
Ooh. Okay, I say this every time. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm not a fortune reader, but I see what I see sometimes.
Oh, no, I don't like that look. See, that's why you never want to get this shit done, because you just
No,
now I'm
I
having
wanna take
I'm
my
having
time.
fucking heart palpitations.
When I first opened it, there's definitely an evil eye, but like it's protected. Like this whole thing is very protected. So I feel like you have a lot of people looking after you. Like,
Well, that's good to know. But there is an eye, yeah?
yes.
Who is it?
Can you see all these roads? You're always on the move, first of all. You have really great roots. There is a very strong root of male presence, and they're all like sitting on this like table. It's almost like a big dinner table, but they're all sitting on top of it for some reason. The roots of the table, so it's kind of like a tree if you want to think about it. It opens up and it's literally going all the way up to the sky. And right in the middle of it, there's a dove. And it's beautiful because all these roads, they start from this one, but they all kind of branch out and they're all kind of like holding each other.
I've never seen a cup reading that came out like that in my life. Rose, have you ever seen the rose like that? I've never seen
Not this many, no. Oh, this is so beautiful. So there is a woman coming out of the water and you see her neck, her face, and she has this like feather or like something above her head. And she's literally like whispering. It's really beautiful. Again, I don't know what any of this means. I'm just like telling you what I see. What is that? There's a peacock, which I think that means something very significant when you're reading. Justin, can we look up what a peacock is? What is this reading? I've never read this. Okay, what is it? Peacock in coffee cup reading is a positive sign for the future that brings luck and happiness. I feel like we had a peacock in Madison's actually. And you know what? I can say this now because when she came on my podcast, she has a podcast about true crime. And when she came on my podcast, a peacock showed on her coffee reading. Later on, we couldn't speak about it on camera, but later on, she told me that there was a big network that was interested in picking up her podcast. There's other things happening with it.
Wonderful. It's good vibes on the peacock, yeah.
Absolutely. You're definitely a storyteller. Oh, there's a heart. Oh, it's so beautiful.
What a beautiful reading. I've never seen one look like that. But anyways, thank you
You're welcome.
very much.
You're welcome.
I'm very, very happy about that reading. No, really, thank you for having me on, Neha. And I'm very particular where I go and do these things. But
Appreciate it. Thank you for sharing.
I'm really, really happy to be here. Thank you, Justin, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, what else? Anything else?
How we met. The Debt Collector, which was a really amazing action feature film that came out in 2015.
Yeah.
So that year, I had just booked my first co-star on Westworld, got my SAG
right.
card, and when I got Debt Collector, that was my first feature film. That was my first like
Oh, wow.
feature film set. Everyone was just so nice. Jesse, the director,
He's great.
Lewis. I played this like rich wife to this guy who owed the collectors money, and I'm seducing Lewis while Scott Adkins' character was taking the money. That set was so special for me. I'll never forget it.
That's her story. Mine is fucking completely heavier, dirtier than that. But as an actor, you know, it's, as we all know, it's a fucking grind. You've heard us talking. You just know how it is. It's a grind, and it's a lot of heartache and a lot of hard work in this business. But there are times when you're blessed to book and you're on set that you have moments like this. So it's written in the script, this lady disrobes and she gets naked and she straddles me. And that was the scene. She seduced me and we were doing the business while Scott was actually working. I'm having lunch and they say, hey, Lewis, you want to meet the girl who's going to be sitting on top of you naked? And I said, yeah, sure thing. And I put a little meat in my mouth and I looked up and Nehan's standing there. So it's one of those moments as an actor, I was like, right on, what a great job. Yeah, great. But in truth, it was a great moment, and I told you I wasn't going to try to be funny, but that is how we met. We didn't know each other, and then, and by the way, my pants were down, she's naked, we're on the set, and what actually happened was, we were ready to shoot, and I don't know if you remember it like this, but they said, holding, technical difficulties, and they made us wait like 10 minutes, and we're just like this, how you doing? He was like, how you doing?
Yeah.
But we talked.
So I have a robe. There are like pasties.
Pasties, yeah.
For like the bottom, but you're just like, you're very vulnerable and exposed.
Of course you are, oh my God, and I never
like,
liked those
I don't know
things.
this guy, like I know he's a big actor, obviously. I'm just like hanging out.
I guess my point is that I find those scenes really awkward. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of other people enjoy them. I don't. It's just awkward because it's very personal, you know. But it went great and we became friends and we've kept in touch since then. And Neon's awesome, so that's why I'm here. And I'm really happy to be here and still in touch with you after the Debt Collectors. And you were great in it too, by the way. It was a great scene.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I've done them too. I've done the whole completely...
Oh.
I mean, I've done scenes that make that look like fucking Disneyland. Nehan.
Oh, okay.
And I got to tell you, actually, last thing I'll say is I was coming here today and thinking about that.
Yeah.
And I thought about my first scene like that when I was young. The movie was called Betrayal, I think, with Mark Lester in the 90s, I think.
With Mark Lester.
He was an old school director too, still is. And I
Yeah.
remember I was new, green, and I remember coming in and it was written where I attack this woman and I know her, I attack her and I take her. And I said to him, well, what do you want to do with the scene? And he says, just come in the room, get her and take her and just rip her clothes off and do her on the couch. And me and the girl both said, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Are we doing that? He says, everything comes off. Anyway, it was one of my first films. And I remember I committed to it, just like you did. We both, me and the girl said...
you have to. It's your job.
We have to trust each other, you see. You have your scene partner. You have to really trust each other. But we were both young, me and this other girl. Anyway, we did the scene. It was full fucking on, man. Because I'm an actor. I went for it.
Yeah.
And so did she. But I went for it completely butt-ass naked, whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember it took me about 3-4 weeks to recover from that. It really psychologically affected me. But then I remember I went and saw like Monsters Ball or something. And I saw Billy Bob just destroy her in that fucking movie. And I was like, I remember I was in my seat saying, oh my God.
Yeah.
What I did was nothing compared to that.
Yeah.
And they're winning awards.
Well, now
so I
and then
just
you
said,
have Euphoria and all this
Yeah,
other
no,
stuff.
man.
That makes what I did look
exactly
a
no.
joke.
What we do as actors is different, and at some
Yeah.
point, I always say now when I'm a filmmaker, and I always say to my cast, if it's absolutely valid and it makes sense for the storyteller, and as an actor and the cast member, you feel it valid, and you're committed to making this film a real fucking film instead of some just fucking.
Yeah.
Let's get the names and sell it because this Tory wants a fucking spinning back kick. No. If you're really creating art and you're coming from a place of bleeding out your eyes, then it's what we do.
Honestly, when I got it, it didn't even bother me. I was very confident in who I was, and the only person that's opinion that will ever matter for me is my mom. And she was the first person that I said, because I had already just did Westworld, which when you play like one of the robots and whatever, you're also naked, but it's a very professional set.
It's the thing, professional sets, man. As I
yeah.
said, this is what we do.
And then ours was a whole skeleton crew when we did the scene, just so like I can feel comfortable, and everyone was professional. Yeah. And I never, second guessed it or what. I was like, yeah, this is great. I love this role. She's fun, whatever.
My advice to people who are listening is, if you're an actor and you're on set and you're just starting or something, I mean, come on, we're all pretty cluey. If you can see there's a sleazy side intention there. You know it. You see it. You feel it. When it's a professional set, it's what it is. It's a movie. If it works, it works. You do
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. It's what we do.
And just make sure you're surrounded by great people.
Yeah. This is like a Greek goodbye. I feel like I've said 3 goodbyes.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Because we say goodbye at the kitchen table, then at the door, then at the fucking the street, the
Love
car.
it. Yeah.
Driving off.
Bye. Perfect. I feel like that's a perfect ending. Thank you.
My pleasure, Nehan.
My pleasure.
I hope it was fun.
Love it.
Yeah, cool.
Bye, guys.
Peace.